So innovation, it's a nice word. It means doing what's new. We innovated the year we were born at Old Mission House, Lakeland. It was 1862. The immigrants who came here and started this whole thing cared most about an idea of freedom. They wanted to be free to worship differently and free to make a living. And they looked south and saw that a lot of people were not free. So they literally called the question as a faculty and student body and said, we're going to stop the wheels in motion and go south and set people free. The first innovation after our establishment was that we chose to stop teaching and learning for the sake of freedom. Pretty interesting idea. And innovation always starts with an idea. It goes from the head to the heart to the hands. Some years later, we decided as a people that there were 750,000 Wisconsinites working in our businesses, mostly factories, and the world was globalizing, and these technologically educated folks were not ready to tackle the problem-solving responsibilities of that. And so we birthed something we now call the Kellett School. We called it then the School for Lifelong Learning. The interesting thing about being innovative, it is you have to be humble and full of resolve. Because when we decided to do that, every single college and university like us in the state laughed and said, you're just prostituting academia. We had an idea. People couldn't be free if they weren't economically free. They couldn't be free in a globalized economy if they didn't have knowledge. So we started the School for Lifelong Learning. 41 years later, we're still doing it, and everybody that chuckled at us is doing it as well. A few years even before that, though, we took a bold step, and it was to be the first college in Wisconsin to integrate racially our community and our faculty. What would we be without Jay Shilcott? What would we be without a student body that is as diverse as society? That was innovative. Other people were too afraid to do it. Some years later, we decided that we would not vendor out food service and housekeeping and grounds and plant ops. Why? Because if the people who made us who we are and cared for us every day no longer worked for us, they and their children couldn't go to college here free. And I think if you'll check, we're the only college in Wisconsin that does not contract out those kinds of services. Fast forward again, innovation's an idea. We looked around and saw that Asia was growing fast. Our growth rate was flat. We birthed a campus in Tokyo, Japan. 30 years later, we're still there. And students from 40 different countries around Japan and Asia and even in the Middle East come there to study. And innovation. There are 4,500 colleges and universities in America. There are 2 in Japan from America. We are one of them. We're just people of ideas. And we put legs on them. The most recent idea we've had is what we call co-op. We're determined for students to learn experientially, get a taste of their professions, and graduate without this awful albatross of student debt. And so we put all those components together in an innovative idea we've called cooperative education. And again, we're the only ones doing it the way we're doing it. So innovation, it's in our DNA. It started with the first people here. It extended through everybody who's worked here and taught here and served here. And so we've decided to name ourselves what we are, to call ourselves what we do. We've decided to brand Lakeland with that word, innovation, and we've earned the right to do it.